for allowing us to be part of this beautiful story that became Sarajevo Film Festival, the 28th edition. You are with the festival for 24 editions already. What does it mean today, Sarajevo Film Festival?
This is a festival that my almost entire adult life is tied to, so it's a crazy thing. It's absolutely a central event of the year for me. So it has been like that for, as you said, 20 years. Yeah.
If we are talking about the 28th edition, what would be, from your point of view, the hardest thing to elaborate for this edition? Because the festival grew so much, I'm wondering, where is Sarajevo Film Festival going next?
I think we have grown, but we have grown systematically, and we have grown according to our goals, which are, have not changed much since the start of the festival. We are catering to our audiences. We are creating new audiences for films from this part of the world and the rest of cinema globally on one side, and on the other side we want to be a platform for development of the film industry and film business in this region. So following these two goals, obviously, the actions that we do to achieve them change all the time, depending on where the market is, depending where the audience's habits are. It changes all the time. But I think the thing is to grow strategically and systematically. We have included Ukraine now to be part of our regional focus. So that's obviously going to bring some more quality to the competitions, to the talents program, to the Cinelink Industry Days program. So that's always good.
Dann in dem richtigen Moment so. So und dann.
Labilis édesanyámmal és kisugommal nehéz körülmények között élünk. Középiskolás vagyok, jövőre érettségizem, folytatnom kell az élsportot. Ez az egyetlen lehetőségem.
A másik. Mala baš nije htjela krenuti, jel? Ko da je ne znaš. Unca!
Ne da se sjećaš ovih mrtvih mačaka i ptica što bi našli liti u travi. Tako si bio nekako napuhan. Sjećam se mačaka.
De ce ai venit aici în Moldova? Mi-am spus că o să fiu un challenge. Dar ce crezi că se întâmplă pe aici, mă? Nici nu-i mare acțiune aici în sat, cu bărdiță, ceva la părit la...
A fost un scandal la beție. Se întâmplă des, mai ales acum când încep căldurile.
Eu știu că tu nu duci la pește acolo.
Și eu știu că știi.
Sarajevo Film Festival, for example, this year we are presenting 235 films, but over 100 films are from the region in different sections, competitive and non-competitive, which actually makes us quite unique. We are the only festival gathering filmmakers from this part of the world. Through the guests who are coming, through the connections that we already have, then I can see that we are making a change in terms of regional cinema. And that exactly brings me to the point of the competition program of feature films, which I have been following since the beginning. When we started the competition program, when we started this red carpet for regional stars, for regional cinema, it was almost like a suicide mission, because it was not a well-known cinema at all. And it was quite risky to roll out the red carpet and say, yes, this is for Romanian filmmakers, this is for Bosnian filmmakers, but not for some American or, I don't know, French stars. To be able to follow the development of regional cinema and what it is today actually made us prove the point that it was the right thing to do. All of us coming from this part of the world who are making films have the same opportunities and the same obstacles, especially like 20 years ago when we couldn't travel much, when going to Cannes or to Berlin was quite a big chore. It was not so easy. We had to have visas, we had to, there were no internet, there were no Zooms. So it was very difficult for a Bosnian producer or for a Hungarian producer or for a Slovenian producer or a Romanian producer to travel to these big festivals and to do something, to make a network.
How do you program these films? What are the main elements that you're taking in consideration when you're making the final list? Because I'm imagining you're seeing a lot of films from all these countries in the region, and at the end of the day there are only 8 films that they are competing for the heart of Sarajevo. What makes you say, this is a film that I want in my festival?
Well, basically we cover 21 countries. The 21st country is Ukraine, so this year we have rounded up to 21, and usually there are about from, 160 to 200 films made in this region that are actually looking for a regional up to a world premiere in Sarajevo. What we are looking for, as every festival, we are looking for not necessarily a perfect film, but a film with an interesting point of view, with a fresh idea. We want a film that will bring out some new talents, some new ideas, some new styles. And at the end of the day, of course, as every festival, we also would like to be the festival of discovery. So every year we have a nice balance between the debut filmmakers and more mature filmmakers who are coming back with their second, third, fourth film, or sometimes even fifth film. But what is interesting is that in the past 20 years, a new generation has grown together with the festival, and now there is already a new generation coming up with the new feature films. A lot of things have changed, and regional cinema is not as unknown as it was 20 years ago. For example, now if you look at the selection of Berlin or Cannes or Venice or any other film festival, you will see that there are a number of regional films selected in these big festivals, which was actually not the case, like for example 20 years ago.
Починається.
Не торкнись. Боїшся?
Я не боюсь.
Це що за херня ще?
Спокійно. Це не херня. Це війна.
What made you decide this year to include a Ukrainian film in the main competition?
Actually, we have started communicating with Ukraine about this a couple of years ago. The filmmakers have expressed their wish to also participate in Sarajevo Film Festival in the competition section and also in Cinelink Industry Days. And we have been thinking about that, and actually we were supposed to be having a meeting with Ukrainians in Cannes this year. But then the war started, Russia invaded Ukraine, and suddenly we thought that we don't need to discuss this and we don't need to wait anymore. It is a perfect time, unfortunately, because of the war, to give Ukraine also an equal opportunity to participate at Sarajevo Film Festival. And strangely enough, the Ukrainian film, which we are showing in competition, Klondike, was actually the first film that we have selected. It's an amazing, absolutely amazing film, because it's of course one of the films which was shown earlier in the year at Sundance and at Berlin. So we had the opportunity to see it even before we decided to include Ukraine. And also, as unfortunately Sarajevo has had the history of war and of atrocities just 30 years ago, and basically the Sarajevo Film Festival started during the siege of Sarajevo. We know the troubles of Ukrainian filmmakers and Ukrainian people in general.
Вдягайся і поїхали.
Куди поїхала, Доля?
На ту сторону, там, де нема війни.
Надзвичайна подія. В небі над Донбасом впав пасажирський літак. Всі подробиці вже за мить.
Помилку влучили.
Помилками.
The festival also aims to discover, aims to invest through programs like Sarajevo Talents in the new generation, the new storytellers of tomorrow. Could you tell us how much time do you spend together with the team of the festival to find these voices? How do you know who's gonna be a huge director tomorrow?
We don't know, but we try to follow what is happening, what is going on, what is being produced, who are the students coming up with new films. We also really try to follow the films. If we have a film submitted and it's directed or written or produced by one of our talents, we will take a special look at it. If it was in CineLink, we will follow the project. So for us, it's very important to follow what is going on.
I think the most important part of it is supporting the talents. There's the programs, the films and the competitions where we premiere films, but we are not after world premieres only. You know, we can show films that have been shown nationally or that have been shown outside of the region. The other one is the industry part, CineLink Industry Days, where we try to help filmmakers put their projects together in terms of financing, in terms of partners that can help them bring those films and projects to other markets and or to completion. And then the third pillar is education. And this is the talents program as well as all the student-related programs. So all of these three function as an ecosystem that the festival has built to follow the development of film authors, of filmmakers, from the student days to their already established career.
Many A-listers from the cinema world came to Bosnia for the Sarajevo Film Festival. This year we had Matt Mikkelsen here, we had Jesse Eisenberg, huge Hollywood figures. And if we're thinking about the last years, Angelina Jolie, Meryl Streep, Morgan Freeman, and many other names. How hard is to bring them here?
I think the biggest stars are the regional filmmakers for whom this red carpet that we are sitting on is actually rolled out. You know, these are the main stars of the festival, and these are the people who this festival has been made for. It's great to exchange with the wider filmmaking community, and especially great to have the biggest names out there, people who have been so influential over the years with their careers. It's great to have their support, and this is how the festival started, really. The first wartime edition of the festival was immediately recognized as this crazy thing, this film festival in the middle of a besieged city that was a lot on television. So, you know, not many wars were that televised before. So these mid-90s, this is the rise of cable television. So everyone had, you know, news from Sarajevo all the time on TV, which was not the case before. But this drafted a lot of support from the intelligentsia, from the artists and filmmakers, obviously, all over the world. So the festival had this type of following and support from the very beginning. And this helped at the beginning. But later on, obviously, you need to have a good festival, a good name. It has to be maintained, it has to be developed in order to attract the biggest names, and it needs to make sense, really, for them to come. So usually it's about exchange, it's about working with one of these pillars that I described before, with the young filmmakers, with maybe they're presenting their films. So it has to make sense, first of all. So nobody's coming just to appear on this red carpet. There are enough red carpets, enough events where people can take pictures. There needs to be substance, and this is what is the first and foremost. And then, you know, to bring people of this caliber that you just mentioned and who were here, the thing is, once you have why they're coming, you know, and everything that I described, then it's about the schedules. You know, the festival is when it is. Their lives are, unlike mine, not planned according to this. So we need to make things work. And sometimes it takes years to fit these schedules, you know. So people want to come, but they cannot come this year, not next year, maybe they'll come in 3 years. But as long as we have this communication going, as long as they know why they're coming, as long as this is something that's important to them, it will happen. So I think today we can confidently say that the festival can attract the biggest names in cinema, and the question is just if it will work out.
What does it mean for the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina to have such a huge event? Because I'm imagining you're preparing it for months, considering how many people are flying in, all the industry meeting that they are happening here, the premieres, and all the students, all the programs. I'm guessing it's a huge event for the municipality as well, right?
People who have been running the city have been telling us that when they travel abroad and represent the city, that most of the people know 4 things about Sarajevo. You know, there are some people who know more, of course, but majority of people know 4 things. This is the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, 1914, the start of World War I. The Olympics in 1984, Winter Olympics. Then the siege in the 90s, and then the 4th one is the Sarajevo Film Festival. And when you think about it, you know, the Olympics, which is, well, 2 of these things are bad and 1 of these things, and 2 are positive, right? The Olympics we had once here, and the film festival is every year and already going on for 28 years. So it is, I think it is synonymous with the city almost today, and it has been widely recognized by the people, by the authorities, that the festival has an impact on different aspects of society, economy, culture, and this effect is enormous, really.
The context of the war, in the context of Ukraine, in the context of the world where we are right now, do you still believe the power of cinema can change the world?
Yes, one step at a time. Of course, things change all the time, and cinema can bring change. We know that. You know, that's a fact. It can raise awareness. It can inspire people. It can move certain processes. It is not an all-powerful tool, there is no such, but I think it's definitely influential.